Over an 8-month time span, a series of 4 brutal and well-orchestrated murders took place in the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, from September 2018 to May 2019. All 4 went unsolved, until a hitman was exposed in summer 2020. Here are the 4 murders which exposed this Philly savage. A 35-year-old man by the name of William Crawford was parked outside of his sister's residence on the 1900 block of Hartel Avenue. Standing next to his white Dodge Journey, Crawford didn't notice a man hastily walking toward him. Wearing skinny jeans and a hoodie featuring a white design, the man wasted no time in pulling out a pistol. Before William Crawford could react, the gunman had pumped 3 bullets into his head and back, dropping him to the floor. The offender then sprinted away from the scene. Crawford's sister alerted police, and paramedics arrived to save her brother. Upon arrival, Crawford was in bad shape, able to make it to a local hospital, before sadly succumbing to his head and back wounds. An investigation was launched, but like with many murder cases within the city, there was little promise of resolution or justice. In 2018, there was a total of 344 homicides, 60% of which were not solved. There are a number of reasons for cases going unsolved. Reasons for this shocking statistic included a surge in homicide detectives retiring the year prior, which meant that there were only 61 detectives actively working homicide cases. By the end of 2018, this number had jumped to 80, which is still incredibly low when compared to other cities and countries. Additionally, Philly police rely heavily on witnesses to the actual murder, and how many detectives become assigned to said case is also vital for case resolution. Furthermore, there is a major fear of reprisal shootings, should a person cooperate with law enforcement. Philly is synonymous with murder, and anyone who informs is liable to get a bullet. The toxic environment and street code prevent many people from coming forward, and the cycle just continues. Overall, the situation is dire, and out of control, with there being no single answer to the deep-rooted problem. For William Crawford's family, all they could do was wait, and attempt to figure out why anyone would want to harm their son. All they had were questions, with no clear answers. 39-year-old Jermaine Simmons was sitting idle in his vehicle outside of his house. Suddenly, a black sedan rolled alongside his car, with 2 hitmen, one in the front and one in the back, hopping out of the car, and unloading rounds into his vehicle. Jermaine was struck multiple times by 2 gunmen. They let off 18 shots, and didn't hang about, peeling off at a high rate of speed following the calculated murder. Philadelphia police and paramedics would respond to the scene, finding Simmons struggling to stay alive at the back of his house. Simmons was taken to the Albert Einstein Medical Center. However, he passed away a short time later. 31-year-old Richard Isaac was ambushed by a hitman whilst he sat on the front porch of a house. The hitman dumped multiple bullets into his head and chest, before running away from the scene. In a similar playthrough of events, Richard was taken to a nearby hospital, and didn't survive his injuries. Moreover, the victim had a criminal history, with an arrest for a 2014 robbery out of the same neighborhood. Due to his criminal case, it is unlikely that his murder would have been considered a top priority. Therefore, like the previous 2 victims, Richard's case went cold. Anyone investigating the 3 murders would have immediately noticed the similarities between them. All 3 victims were in their 30s, and all had been specifically targeted. The 3 victims had been caught outside of houses, with all 3 having been in, or near to their vehicles at the time of their deaths. Undoubtedly, these were premeditated hits, with multiple people conspiring or being involved in them firsthand. A 46-year-old man by the name of Leslie Carroll Sr. was chilling in his son's currently stationary vehicle, when a vehicle pulled up parallel and opened fire. The hitman had been seated in the back seat, and shot Leslie in the upper torso. He later died in hospital. A complex investigation led to the arrest of 25-year-old Stephen Williams, a Philadelphia native. Williams was currently serving a state sentence for an unrelated crime, but was brought to face additional, more serious charges. He is charged with 4 counts of murder, conspiracy, hindering apprehension, possessing an instrument of crime, reckless endangerment, tampering with evidence, obstruction of justice, and related weapons charges. Shortly after Williams's arrest, the motive for the 4 men's slayings was announced. It turned out that Williams was part of a contract killing team, and in turn for carrying out murders, he was paid thousands of dollars. All 4 murders were connected to him via not only his involvement, but also the murder weapons. Apparently, upon being questioned about the killings, Williams stayed silent, but later admitted to knowing about the cases once being confronted with the evidence against him. He would claim that he was being set up to be the fall guy, and so it is unclear just how much he told to law enforcement about the scheme. As of 2023, there have been no new updates regarding the other crew members. The informant source probably informed on Stephen Williams, hence his apprehension. The most troubling part about this case is the lack of information relating to the culprits. The fact that the 4 victims were paid targets is bad enough, but there's been no updates on who even ordered the hits. Was it a disgruntled lover or someone whom they'd had an argument with, or disrespected? Hopefully, the family members will get some answers in the near future. Finally, the question of who the other accomplice, or accomplices are, is pending. Police believe that there are additional victims in the case. However, it is still uncertain whether or not Williams will spill the beans, or keep his mouth shut and accept life imprisonment. With so many questions, only time will tell. Rest in peace to all 4 victims.